What's up, everybody? And today we're checking out Drill Instructor gives epic speech, United States Marine Corps recruit training. I don't know much about the US Marine Corps training. I do know that they take a very different approach, considering I went through obviously British Royal Marines Commandos training, and I know that the US Marines do a lot more yelling, whereas in the Royal Marines, they do yell, obviously, to some extent, but it's a lot more psychological, and I've said this in the past. And in fact, I'll get into it in the video. I'll leave a link in the description. First line of the description will always be the original video. Go check it out. It's Air Source Military. They do fantastic videos. Go and check them out if you haven't already. You can hear it without me waffling over the top of it if you don't want to hear me waffling. All right, guys? What else? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps with that mysterious YouTube algorithm. I want you to comment if you're a veteran. If you're a veteran, comment down below. Let me know what unit were you in. Let me know when you were in. And let me know what training was like for you. All right? Okay, this is an epic speech by the US Marines. My presumption is going into this is going to be shouting straight away. And I didn't get into it, but I was saying that in the Royal Marines, yes, they do shout at you. You know, as much as they need to. But they're very psychological as well. If you fuck up, they will come up to you, and instead of being like screaming in your face, they'll be like, you can stand by. You can stand by. And then they'll just walk off. And then just out of nowhere, a week later, in the middle of the night, they'll come into the room, they'll get you up, and you'll do something horrific. You know what I mean? They'll mess with you, or they'll make the rest of the troop do something horrific because of you. And it's a lot more psychological. And that is, in my opinion, worse than being screamed at. Let's see what this got to say, though. It's supposed to be an epic speech. Let's hope it's good.
Oh, yes, sir. Sit up straight and look at me right now. Oh, yes, sir. My name is Staff Sergeant May, and I am your senior drill instructor. I'm assisted in my duties by Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant Villalobos and Drill Instructor Staff Sergeant King. Our mission is to train.
You know, I don't know whether it's because I'm English. No, actually, I'm English and an American because I do have an American citizenship. But obviously, I was born and raised in Britain, and I lived the past 9 years in America. There's something about the screaming U.S. Marine drill sergeant that seems very Hollywood. And I'm guessing that's because, you know, most military films are, you know, set in America because of Hollywood, right? The big example for me is what's it called? Band of Brothers, right? That's like the kind of the obvious one. And you've got a bunch of other military films as well that start off in training, then move into active duty, kind of like Jarhead, and you know all the films. And because you see that kind of Full Metal Jacket, that's another one. Because you see that American drill sergeant style, it's almost as if, as a Brit, who's someone who didn't grow up hearing that stuff on a daily basis, it's not intimidating, it's more entertaining. Does that make sense? And it's not, I'm not taking anything away from their training. I think what they're doing is obviously creating fantastic, amazing soldiers, right? Some of the best soldiers in the world. But as a Brit who watched it on TV, it seems more entertaining than worrying. Does that make sense? Without anyone getting offended and crying your little socks off. Because I'm not here to do that. I'm here to learn and educate and grow with you guys at the same time.
Each one of you to become a United States Marine. A Marine is characterized as one who possesses the highest of military virtues. He obeys orders, respects his seniors, and strives constantly to be the best at everything that he does. Discipline and spirit are the hallmarks of a Marine. Each of you can become a Marine if you develop discipline and spirit. We will give every effort to train you, even after some of you have given up for yourselves. Starting now, you will treat all Marines with the highest level of respect, for we have earned our place as Marines and will accept nothing less than that from you. We will treat you as we do our fellow Marines. dignity, and compassion. At no time will you be physically abused or verbally threatened by any Marine or recruit.
Interesting. I definitely got threatened a lot in training. Like, you're a fucking idiot. I'm going to knock your fucking face off. And you're like, yeah, yes, Corporal. I'm going to fucking kill you. Yes, Corporal. You're going to kill me, Corporal. Yes, Corporal.
If anyone should abuse or mistreat you, I expect you to report such incidents immediately to me or to one of my drill instructors.
Where we won't give a shit. You should just preface it with that.
Further, if you feel I have mistreated you, I expect you to report it to your series commander, Captain Huddleston. From now on, my drill instructors and I will be with you every day and everywhere that we go. I've told you what my drill instructors and I will do. From you, we demand the following. You will give 100% of yourselves at all times.
You see, this is where I think it doesn't work in Britain. Is obviously it's a completely different culture and things different. Like, it's different, innit? Like, different cultures deserve different types of training, and that's why we have the more psychological stuff. This screaming technique seems to work in America, and the reason I can say that it seems to work is because the soldiers that the US Marines creates are world class, right? Now, I remember when we're getting our like, this is obviously him explaining the chain of command and what's going down, right? In the Royal Marines, they sit you down and they're like, all right, lads, this is how it's going to work. And they just talk you through it. If you start fucking about, they're going to destroy you anyway, right? The mind games are already there. They don't scream at you, though. They don't do that. And I think, and I'm trying to place it because there's something there that I think works. Why does this work for US Marines and yet it doesn't for Royal Marines Commandos? For Royal Marines Commandos, they need that more psychological terror, really tearing them down and making them like want to work hard in a way of not screaming at them. Whereas over here, or I should say over there, I'm not in America anymore, the screaming does put that level of fear into people. And I'm wondering why that is the case. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I mean, I'm going to say the Royal Marines are better than the US Marines, but that's me just being biased because I was a Royal Marines commando, right? And the banter's there. If you're in the US Marines, I'm going to give you shit and say that my training was harder because that's what we do, right? But in all seriousness, let's take my bias out of it. There is an underlying psychological structure that seems to work better in the US Marines and different in the Royal Marines. You could say it's the speed of which training is commenced, right? In the Royal Marines, it's a new troop of 60 every 2 weeks. That's it. About 15 to 20 may pass out if you're lucky, if you're very lucky, right? Over here, you're getting thousands of people through constantly in the US. So maybe that's some sort of, variable that does that. Maybe that's what it is, because it's more like mass-produced soldiers, right? They're trying to mass-produce quality soldiers, and it's almost as if they've got this nailed down and they know what works and they don't want to change it. Whereas I think because of the slowed down nature of Royal Marines training, it's longer, it's slower, it's more endurance, right? It's 32 weeks long. It's a long fucking time. I think they have more time to think and psychologically fuck you up. All right? I don't know. I'd love to know your opinion. Let's watch the rest of this.
Time. Obey all orders quickly, willingly, and without question. Treat all Marines and recruits with courtesy and respect. You will not physically abuse or verbally threaten any Marine or recruit. Be completely honest in everything that you do. A Marine never lies, cheats, or compromises. Respect the rights and properties of others. A Marine never steals. You must work hard to strengthen your body. Be proud of yourself and the uniform you wear. Above all else, never quit or give up. For we, or for you, to challenge and recruit training. the opportunity to earn the title, United States Marine. Now, ears!
This definitely feels like it's something that he's said so many times that it almost is kind of like a performance in a way, because he's ticking a box. This is something he's done already. It's almost as if, you know, everyone already knows what they're doing. All right, let's get out, let's do this bit, and then we can crack on with the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? I think the shouting there, obviously this is very early on in training. So I reckon the shouting there is probably a way of weeding out people very quickly. The way they do that in the Royal Marines training, they have like foundation, which is the first 2 weeks, and they fuck you up. And I'm talking like, if you're the last one or two late, you know, coming back doing something or whatever, everyone else is getting hammered and you've got to stand and watch, and everyone starts hating you. Do you know what I mean? Like little things like that, really big psychological things. With this, it definitely seems like a factory in a way. Does that make sense?
Ears! Eyeballs! Good, sir! When I tell you to, and only when I tell you to, you will stand up and shake out your legs. Do you understand? Yes, sir! This side, stand up and shake out your legs. Yes, sir! This side, stand up and shake out your legs. Yes, sir! Ears! Eyeballs! Good, sir! When I say something, you will scream at the top of your lungs. Aye, aye, sir! Aye, sir! When I tell you to, and only when I tell you to, your side is going to power walk and stand on line in front of your gear. Do you understand? Yes, sir! This side, get all lined up. Aye, sir! This side, get all lined up. Aye, sir!
Huh. Very different. It's very different than the Royal Marines training. It's something that I'm not accustomed to. It's a different, you know, although I am a United States citizen, right? It's something that I didn't experience, and I think the way that the culture, and obviously I spent 9 years in the US, right? But I didn't grow up with that culture, right? I didn't move over there until I was 23. So the first 23 years of my life, I grew up with British culture. I was in the Royal Marines, right? Like I had a different upbringing, a different way of punishment, and a different way of discipline. And do you know what? It almost makes me wish that when I was a bit younger and a bit fitter, because I probably couldn't do it now, that I could have done both trainings. I wish so. I wonder if someone's ever done that, done Royal Marines training and done US Marine training, and just compared them. We do know that the Royal Marines training, with it being as long as it is and hard it is, it's the hardest basic military training in the world, and that's not me doing banter. That's actually the truth of it, right? It's the hardest basic military training in the world. That's why they have the ad of 99.99% need not apply, because that's how many people fail. 99.99% of people fail and don't earn their Green Beret, right? We know that the US Marines have a bit more of it's a massive machine. Like, think about how many lads pass out a training in the British Royal Marines Commandos per year compared to in fact, I'm going to Google the numbers. Let's have a look. New Royal Marines per year. On average, 26,000 men apply to join the Royal Marine Commando every year, but only 400 make it. So about 400 people per year. Right? 400 per year. Now let's see how many new US Marines per year. In the fiscal year of 2022, the Marines brought on 33,210 enlisted active duty Marines. Over 33,000 per year compared to the 400. Now, you can say a lot about numbers. I mean, obviously, the US is much bigger. The UK is much smaller. I think it does attribute to this. Do you know what I think is another thing as well? I think the Royal Marines have a way of the bar to entry in the Royal Marines is significantly harder than the bar to entry in the US Marines. Now, what I think happens is the Royal Marines have this massive bar to entry. So when you get into training, they're already investing a bunch into you. And in the US Marines, it's almost as if it's the opposite way, where the US Marines doesn't have as big of a bar to entry, but a lot more they'll force a lot more people to quit in the first few weeks. Does that make sense? It's almost like the opposite way. But I'd love to get a US Marine on, and without having the bias, right? We're gonna have the fun banter bias that we always have. We're gonna have that no matter what, right? I'm always gonna say Royal Marines training is difficult, more difficult than any other training, right? That's just banter. But if we could have a conversation where we really kind of pinpoint training, I think that'd be solid. If we got like a table and had me, another Royal, maybe we get Ryan on it, and then 2 US Marines, and we sit down and we talk about training. And we're not talking in a way that's, oh, you've done this better, I've done that better. Just talking about our experiences and understanding how training is dealt with in both countries. I think that would be incredibly valuable to a lot of people. I think that would definitely open a lot of people's minds to different ways that training is done. Do you get what I'm saying? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think. Got a good video coming out this afternoon looking at military ads, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, there'll be a link in the description for the video you just watched if you don't want to hear me waffling over the top of it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section down below. Please go and comment. Other than that, that's it. I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.